Guys, we are on a new episode of Trash Can Talk podcast. I don't even know what number because we're really on it right now. This is season 4, and we're here with Jay. He does security, Barber. Jay, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's the deal? How y'all doing? Welcome to Trash Can Talk. I'm Jay, a.k.a. June 1st. You can go June 1st to Barber, June, everything. Don't even worry about it, but you're going to find out, so stay tuned.
The first memory I have meeting you was you did security at the Halloween show when Freddie Gibbs came out.
Oh, that's right.
So I don't know if I met you before that day.
It was before, but it was brief.
But you know why I won't forget that day? Because one, that day changed my life. Literally became homies with Freddie Gibbs. He's like, just won a fucking Grammy yesterday.
Shots out.
Shout out to Gibbs. Well deserved. You deserve that shit. But I feel like that day was like one of the, it was an event that I put on, but it didn't go how I thought it was going to go, first of all. But I just remember all the people, like you, the guy who did the club, like, you know, the ELU banquet hall, the manager of it. I just remember all the people, key components that were there that day because I was super grateful that it happened at all. Yeah. And it was the best day of my life. My ex came, the kids. Gibbs showed up in rare form. I don't know if he could even see where he was at.
No.
I asked him to play the song Forever and a Day, which is my favorite song, and he didn't.
Nah, remember.
He said he couldn't remember the words.
He couldn't really, I think he could.
He did a little bit of comedy that night, and the songs that he did do, he did them great. Because I think they're on auto.
Those ones he did, because I remember somebody had some kids there.
Me.
It was you. Nah, somebody else too.
That was all of them. That was my kids, and then my aunt brought over because my cousin's daughter, my cousin Siobhan, R.I.P. Her daughter loves Tyler the Creator. Loves Tyler the Creator to the extent where she knows everything he's ever done. So she knew they had done a song together. So she's like, I have to come. So we brought, and then it was maybe Armin's kid was there that day.
Nard too.
He brought Ara?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know if he actually, I don't think he came.
Brief. No.
Did he? In the beginning? No. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. That's the first time that I remember meeting, because I meet so many people that some just go by and I just don't even.
It's like we here now.
Yeah.
That night was actually, that night was crazy. Because I literally, before this happened, before I got that call, I literally was sitting there like, what am I going to do tonight? And then I got the call and I was like, oh, bet, cool. And what's crazy is Freddie, one of my favorite artists as well. And the whole week prior to that, I was slapping Freddie Gibbs, Boss Rabbit. The whole week prior, that was my daily transportation music. Like, as soon as I start the car, I'm playing Freddie. And I got that call. And, they told me you booked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they told me you booked that. That was good. In the beginning, obviously through a great relationship here, a part of NoHo, I had a discussion about how catering, I took over the catering, and the discussion was about how just eating a home-cooked meal for the clients, having a home-cooked meal after a lot of things that they put themselves through played a role in their mental health. So I jumped on and took over the catering for a while. And it was crazy because the impression that it left on the clients was amazing. They were very lively. They depended every day on 12 o'clock. Like that gave them the boost to know they had something to look forward to. And then I even stuck around and engaged with everybody. And this was before I really entered the building. But as time progressed, obviously I got a Platinum Fortress Enterprise, private security company. I did do an event at one of the NoHo events at the banquet hall. That's when Freddie came out. I did a few before, but I was incognito. But also, I had the history of being a barber as well. And I just made transitions throughout. And a lot of the things that I did played a role in mental health and recovery. Had the discussion about how grooming yourself, taking care of yourself did play a role in the mental health as well until that moment actually came to the forefront. Just keeping up with your appearance. Like, you look in the mirror and you look toward down, you ain't looking like you want to look when you look in the mirror. Like, yeah, of course you're going to sink into depression. You're not going to have the confidence and everything. So we kind of took it upon ourselves to integrate a barber course into NoHo, and integrating that barber course, like, it transitioned into even more, like, when we dove into it, and it became more of a life coach thing, and just that therapeutic aspect for the clients. And that was amazing because these clients will come in feeling one way, but they leave out the chair with a whole nother energy. And it was not just the cut, looking in the mirror. It was the conversation, touching topics from their childhood, touching topics on the decisions they made that led them here. It was just me helping them bring things to the surface within themselves and their issues, their traumas, that they needed to hear this time different. And they understood it different, and just giving them encouragement. So my journey up until this point and even further, just the whole rehabilitation aspect, I tell them this: don't look at this as a drug rehab. Look at it as a place where you can reinvent yourself. As soon as you start thinking, oh, I'm in a drug program, you liable to go relapse.
But that's the thing too, is this is not.
Yeah.
Cry help is the drug fucking thing. Impact is the drug rehab. Salvation Army, where I went, was a drug rehab. Mm-hmm. Actually, I even give Salvation Army their flowers. I mean, these guys had me out packing trucks, sorting fucking vintage stuff. You know what I mean? Going through. I mean, I got on the freaking what's it called? The forklift. You know what I'm saying? So I like to think that we are moving in that direction with just more with how technology advances. Yeah. I want to be at the forefront, like the cutting edge of bringing you like the most valuable skills. Yeah. Those skills are awesome. Believe me, like, look, I was a fucking heroin addict junkie that was like in a rock band and like hardcore bands, but didn't make it. Mm-hmm. But in my head, I thought I did. So in my head, I was like a rock star. In my head, I actually did some crazy things. I mean, I did own a vape store and lost it when I went there. But the one thing I never did is worked hard. I always finessed.
That's important.
It's very important.
That's important.
Because you guys see me now.
Yeah.
I'd be out there selling, finessing this, but like a work fucking horse. Yeah. And when the work needs to be done, I do the work. You know what I mean? If we have 300 hoodies and, Asher and whoever could print 150 in 8 hours, you best believe I'm going to use that Salvation Army fucking work hard shit, jump in the thing, take my shirt off, turn the heat press on, and be pressing the other 150 hoodies, because I'll be damned if we lose the customer, and I'll be damned if we lose the money.
It's a fact. People misinterpret. Everybody want to be a boss, but don't want to put the boss work in.
Right.
Everybody want to be a leader, but still don't want to be a student.
I'll tell you this. Last week, I probably got 16 hours of sleep. That's in 7 days.
Wear and tear. We're going to get you some sleep, but...
Right.
You
but this weekend, I was with Malachi, and we went home early. So at like 9:10.
Oh, that's good.
We shut it down. And then at 10 a.m. I was up. And that's a lot of sleep for me. But fucking needed it. You know what I mean?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. I think the barbershop is so important. Because like what I said, there's two things people come here for. Mm-hmm. These motherfuckers want to come up.
Yep.
They want to come up. You ask someone like, how much like, why don't you have a job? And they're like, there's no job that'll give me like $80,000 a year. And I said, motherfucker, I work 2 jobs and each of them pay that. But I have 2 of them. And I got to work them both every day. On top of the side hustles and everything. You know what I mean? I know when they come in there and then they see I look at barbering like this, just because I know. So I tried to do barbering. I tried to do hair. Like I said, I was living in a salon. But I remember the first time that I tried to do a color correction. And it was one of those 6-hour things.
Oh, yeah.
And barbering also, here's the thing. When I was doing it I was at Humanity Showers cutting the homeless people's hair. You know what I mean? Unhoused, whatever. I was homeless, whatever the fuck it is. But the one thing that I realized is my kid's mom, she showed me how to do a fade. And how she showed me and how I did it, because that's how she showed me, is I would do the line around the part of the head, and I'd fade it in between before I shaved the hair up. Does that make, you know what I'm saying? So I did the line, which was my guide, and then I would do the fade up from the line.
And then go back and
then just
bottom.
clean it off. Now, let me tell you something. Some people's hair is so hard to get a clean fade. Some people have this really easy hair to do it, but sometimes their hair could be like soft.
Oh, yeah.
And then like the sweat gets on it or it gets wet, and then you can't even like. So the reason why like I could not be the master of my own destiny in cutting hair is because unless I was doing like 4 haircuts every day, flexing the muscle, then I wasn't fast.
Consistency.
So I didn't see, it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, all right, if I'm making like $40 a haircut times 8 a day, but some of these haircuts are taking me a half an hour, some of them are taking an hour and a half.
Missing money.
And these are fades, bro. So the thing that I love is like, I mean, they could come in there and you could just be real, bro. You're like, if you get a 30-minute haircut down and you charge $50 this and a work day is 8 hours, because that's the thing these kids, they want to know. They're like, how am I going to make the money? Where is it going to be? How much I'm going to... And then I'm like, okay, if you do 40 hours a week and you do 7 to 10 haircuts a day, there's your $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now, if you work for someone, you got to rent the booth, this, whatever. You can still do that.
Yeah, but you still could touch the 80K. You can
easy
touch 150K.
Yes.
It depends on
a barber. You can do it, and it depends on you.
Yeah.
So I think it's just important that that's in there, and then like we said, the place for them to come be. You know what I mean? What do you see more of? The people who are actually interested in, because everyone's a hustler.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the real thing is like Jay will teach you. You could learn this skill. There's probably
I had a few, but
they're few and far between.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is?
Tell me.
Everybody want it right now.
Yeah.
They don't want to put the time in.
Right.
You know, so in their mind, they see what I do and say, well, okay, he can teach me that, but he can also teach me other things. Let me get the other things.
Well, I'm actually one of the. I saw people doing it, and you know when you're a kid, it's like you shave someone's head.
Yep.
So you're like, I've shaved like a bunch of my friends' head.
Yeah.
But it is way different to get a clean fade.
It is, because even people ask me, do I cut my own hair? I could, but I'd rather sit down and have the experience that you guys get.
Now, on that note, how many people, I mean, these people, I mean, everyone that comes into the NoHo barbershop probably utilize it like I do, right?
Yeah, yep. Yeah.
Especially, too, if you get the private experience, because that's now, too, also kind of what I pay for. Believe me, I did like being in the barbershop, shooting the shit with all the barbers, all the guys. I like that shit, too.
Yeah.
Recently, though, it's such a... it's only when I can fit in my schedule.
Yeah.
So now I actually enjoy that it's like, no, I'm going to be there at 6:30. At 7, I'm going to be at the event.
Mm-hmm.
You got like 22 minutes because I need 8 minutes to get to the event. Yeah. And I fuck with my barber because he makes it a reality.
Yeah.
And I still get my 22 minutes of like shooting the shit. What do you think the most thing these guys are like talking about? You know what I mean? What's like
in a barber world?
I mean, not by like, yeah, like here in NoHo, like.
A lot of people, especially because they see me around and they know my character, they know how I am and how I talk. A lot of the clients come in there and it's life skills. It's straight for life skills. They need a boost. And they're going to get the boost when they look at the mirror. And they're going to get a boost when the things that they're trying to communicate is understood. You know, it's like I tell them when you come in, if you don't know where to go, I'm gonna show you right now. And I'm gonna ask them. I said, "How old were you when you learned how to tie your shoe?" Oh, about like 2, 3. I said, "Well, how old are you now?" Oh, I'm like 20 something. You still know how to do that, right? You still know how to tie your shoe. So how is it that you're telling me that you can't do this, that, the third? Like, if the first person that made the TV that was on 4 legs with the knobs on it, if that person stopped and nobody else made a TV after that, will we have these things hanging on the wall? No.
Right.
It took somebody else to go in there and exercise their ingenuity and map things out. So, like, the conversations we have in there, it's like, when they stuck, I crack the door for them and give them a push, you know? So we touch topics on a lot of things. It's like some people don't have an outlet. Most people don't have an outlet, right? For one. And they don't have guidance because on average, you learn, you're supposed to learn at the crib.
Yeah.
Your mother and your father, you're supposed to have people that you're able to observe, get validated from, observe, and learn from. But in these situations in recovery, these people, they didn't have that. You know, these are people who didn't have that experience.
Yeah.
So me being able to help them out with that and give them the push, it's important. I love it because I see their reaction after that. And it's like, dang, my own dad didn't even, dang, my own mom, I'm supposed to learn this there? I'm like, well, yeah, but skip that. Now it's time for you to change the course of that history.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's like you can't sit here and work. They didn't have the blueprint to being a parent.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's the craziest, is the weirdest. I feel like I'm a product of, not that my parents were bad parents. They were very ill-equipped with the tools to be good parents. And their parents taught them. And my dad was an amazing father and provider. But since my mom wasn't the nurturing mom that, you know what I mean?
that you're supposed to have.
I mean, when you see a book or in a fairy tale, you know what I mean? Now as an adult, I'm like, okay, I know I'm not going to, what I've learned from my mom, I know I'm not going to be physically abusive to my son.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that I was able to withstand the insane amount of physical torture from her, because I will never inflict that onto him. Now, mind you, with this being said, I was a psychopath kid. You guys see how I run around here. You know what I mean? So I don't know if anyone is equipped with the tools to, because as a kid, and not much different than how I am now, but now you can't tell me you can't do something.
Yeah.
So imagine a little kid, very much like Malachi, my son, who's very smart too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to say I was like the best at math in this, but I was very hyper tuned to the universe at a young age. So I realized there's a lot of things that we could do, but if that's not the life that you know, it's impossible to believe.
Yeah.
My mom would say, no, you cannot do that. And I said,
Yo.
bitch, watch me.
Yo.
You know what I mean? And then the crazy part is, I'm not even joking. I remember being told you can't do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if my mom remembers this, but I didn't even know what the middle finger meant. And I just went like that. And she punched me out the fucking door.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I think about it. If you were a young mother, your husband left, you're raising 2 kids, and what you think is to happen is you get married and live happily ever after. Yeah. If that's not your reality, I don't know that would do to her mental health. As an adult now, I realize raising my own son, it doesn't matter what the fuck. You could watch all the videos, I did all that shit.
It had to be hands-on.
Bro, I was 2 years, he's 6, I'm 8. So I was about 2 years sober when he was born. So I was in the height of my. I was reading AA, sponsoring people, going to meetings, meditating, ice bath, running every day. So when he was about to be born, I'm cracking the books, I'm reading the things, I'm watching the YouTubes, and I have some friends that are having kids now, and I'm watching them do that.
Yo.
And I almost want to rob them of the
Yeah.
experience and be like, "Don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
It's
But
not."
you see what's crazy about you saying that? I was a father at 16.
Right. Shoot.
So I was the kid in high school they put in the library because I had the little cute kid, and it was too much of a distraction. So when I look back at, and this to get back on the same topic,
Yeah.
when I look back at a lot of the conversations that I have with the clients, I tell them what they're missing
Yeah.
and why it's going like that. Because I know I didn't have the easiest route growing up. I had similar issues. One thing was that I didn't go to heavy drugs. That was the good part for me.
Yeah.
I didn't go to heavy drugs and had that crazy addiction. I used to drink alcohol like crazy. I did have addiction, but as I went through the healing process and the journey, I thought back to the day that I was a father at 16, right? And I thought back to the days where I lacked certain things in my upbringing. You know, like I didn't have certain experiences. And then I fast forwarded, like even till now, I got 2 more kids, I got 2 more daughters. I know that what I can take from my upbringing and put him in front of me now at being a father to my 2 youngest daughters now, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna create memories.
Yeah.
I'm gonna create memories because I remember I remember the time frame when my moms and pops was together that my pops, even though he was busy, he created memories.
I noticed too that people will be like, here's the craziest part. What's something you loved that you used to do with your dad? You want to know what it was?
What up?
I loved sitting in this truck. It was a small Nissan truck. And I don't remember what we did, but me, my dad, and my brother would sit in the front seat of it, and we'd go places. I don't remember any of the places we went, but I remember love. I loved just sitting in the truck, going anywhere with my dad and my brother.
That's crazy. Similar
This was
thing.
price. I mean, this cost nothing to do.
Yeah.
And now the crazy part was, so I've been really, it irks me that Malachi has to do that couple hour drive to San Diego and back.
He's going
But
love
last
that.
night, yeah. So last night, we go to a Korean barbecue. I let him cook the meat, which is insane. I'm like, dude, my baby is cooking the meat right now, and I'm eating the meat that he's cooking Korean barbecue. And we were driving back, and he forgot his cell phone. So I was like, what music do you want to listen to? And he's like, I don't want to listen to anything. Just ask me questions. And I'm like,
important.
damn, bro, that's exactly.
So important.
Yeah.
And see, just to bring back, I'm gonna say something, just to bring back we still on the same topic as far as the things that the clients be missing here.
Yeah.
The discussions I have in the shop. Another thing I touch bases on is the fact that a lot of parents think because they provide food, clothes, and take you to school that's parenting.
Right.
That's a form of financial parenting. You gotta have the intimate time, one-on-one, the real bond with your kids, and you going with your son, for your son to ask that, to tell you that right, that's parenting. That's the stuff he's gonna remember. My daughters do the same thing.
Yeah.
I literally don't listen to no music in the car when I'm driving with my daughters. Literally, I'm just listening to them fight in the back seat,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like we cracking jokes. We'll probably sing a song occasionally, but I know me playing music while we driving versus me communicating with them, finding out their wants, their needs, their emotions,
Yeah.
things that happen at school with their friends is like, that's more important because I get to learn them. And it's more, we got an intimate style of communication at that point. They can feel that,
Yeah.
you know, but clients, that's the thing that they be missing, and I make them aware of that. I'm like, you afraid to open up because it was a point in your life and your upbringing where you was always pushed away when you wanted to open up.
Yeah.
So that puts you in a place to where you too insecure to open up because you feel like everybody gonna be the same. Everybody finna reject you. Everybody finna tell you they don't want to hear about it. But then when you leave your house and get kicked out or whatever your case was and you end up in the streets, the group that you find validation in, they got substances there.
Yeah.
Right? But they listening to you. Right? When you open up, they listening to you, and now you finding like-minded people.
I mean, I felt like my pain was so, it's not like I had this painful, but it's just that same thing is I didn't have, it's like, who do I tell?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then when I did drugs, I'm like, it's gone.
It's gone.
And I remember too being like, and this was crazy because I'm like, I should show all my friends heroin. They got to be feeling like I am.
We gonna be
I
problem
never
free.
thought there was anything wrong with showing them. I was like, this is the best thing that ever happened. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things like where you're just like, I don't know who to talk to.
Yeah, and that, a lot of that strain from, because like think about it, you had a communication you have with your son right now, right? As he gets older and have different experiences, he gonna be comfortable like, hey yo, dad, let me talk to you about something, because you opened that door already. You established that ground already. You painted that for him, so he know. Versus you thinking you too busy to communicate with him, right? And to stay on this subject because of NoHo, me me being involved with the clients in that way, and what we're talking about, I actually started developing an app. It's a parent app, a parent-child communication app I started working on. And in this app, you can put your work schedule in, and it'll give you some ideas as to what you can do with your kids, just to create that bond. It'll give you a set schedule. You can send positive affirmations. The kids could communicate with you and tell you about how their day was. And because of these things that we're discussing, I created that because a lot of people don't have that, and then they end up in these facilities. And some of them get stuck and lost because they don't have that. But if we could change, we can't change the world just single-handedly, but we could change some things about it, right? And put tools out and place tools out, then it'll work. And I started developing that. I'll show y'all later. I'm still working on it, so we ain't gonna put it out just yet.
Yeah.
But with you talking about how you bond with your son and your memories with your pops, that cycle is so important for everybody.
All right, well, dude, it's been a pleasure having you on the fucking episode. This has probably been one of the better eye-opening episodes. So everybody can find you over at NoHo Recovery.
Yes, sir.
The website is nohorecovery.com. If you guys are looking for help or looking for a place to have a creative outlet or learn skills, Jay does the barbering over there. And I mean, if you are struggling with mental health addiction, please reach out. You could DM me.
Definitely.
And where can they find you at?
You could go ahead and find me on pfe.june on IG. I don't really carry too much other platforms, but yeah, pfe.june.
Anything else you want to shout out working on?
Aside from working on that app, it will definitely be available in time. Also, PFE, that's Platinum Fortress Enterprises, Private Security Service. I want to shout that out. That's me. That's
RJ uses them. Go see Night Patrol.
Yeah.
Freddie Gibbs and RJ are in Night Patrol.
Yeah, definitely go see that. It came out January 16th. Yeah.
It's one of the better movies that came out this year.
Definitely.
And I'm not saying that because we're only, 31 days into the year. This movie's fucking really good. It hit some crazy topics.
Yeah.
But, dude, thank you for coming on the show.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Much love. Yes, sir.